How old are you? Danielle asked. 22. I'm a full-time student at USFR. My major is in physics, with a minor in history. I shoot right back. Physics, eh? Then solve this problem, Danielle said, quickly writing down on a piece of paper. She handed it to me along with a pen and I set to work. I quickly ran it over and realized it was the physics behind the drop on the log flume ride we had just been on 10 minutes earlier. She was asking the speed the log was going at the bottom, and how long it should decelerate. Quite a simple problem. Let's see, 70-degree slope, force of gravity, friction, F over is. I quickly did the sin ratio in my head and came up with the acceleration of the boat at. All right, I believe you, Danielle said. But I haven't finished the problem yet. I countered. Yeah, but I have no idea what you're doing, she said. There was a long silence as she looked back down at the picture of my entry ticket. How did? She tried to ask. No idea, I answered. I think it has to do something with the elevator. I started going down in it, and then I just started to shrink. So maybe if you go up in it, Danielle began. Already thought of it, I was planning to go there as soon as possible, but I was having a good time playing around with you, I added. Danielle blushed a little at this. I'm sure she was feeling very confused at this whole ordeal. She had been taking care of 22-year-old guy in a toddler's body. We have to get back to that elevator, I said. It will be rough. They'll issue a code teal if we don't show up at Richard's office in the next minute or so, Danielle said. Guess we better start going, I said. ***. Hey Danielle, wait up. A voice rang out. Danielle winced and slammed the brakes on the golf cart she was driving. She turned to see Mike, the guy who called me Piss Pants, running towards the cart. Hey, where ya heading? He asked her. Warehouse 101. She answered. Cool, I have to head that direction, he said, and without asking he hopped in the cart. His massive weight pressed down on the seat and I gave a very soft moan as the seat pressed down on me. Danielle had hidden me in the seat compartment and the two of us had just begun to make our dash back to the haunted house and hopefully back to my old body. Oh, I saw Richard, he wanted to talk to you about something. I about think the brat from earlier, Mike said. Already took care of it, and he's not a brat, she answered. Whatever, having to take care of a kid who pisses himself, sounds like a blast. Mike snorted back. I was sure Mike could feel the heat rising from my blushing cheeks as I wet my diaper yet again. So Danielle, doing anything when your shift is done? Mike asked. Yep, she answered. Such as, he led on. Nothing involving you, she answered. Oh come on. Why not? I'm a nice enough guy, Mike retorted. Phut. Nice. Give me a break. Danielle shot right back. What, you rather hang out with the little kid, would you? Miss Maternal. Heh, if you let me come over we can do a couple things that lead to a baby, Mike said. Wham. I slammed my fist into the seat above me, angry at Mike for saying such words to Danielle. What the fuck, Mike said, the pressures on my seat lessen and I pushed myself up. Danielle quickly slammed on the brake and everyone lost their footing for a moment. There was a very awkward silence as the three of us stood motionless in the gold cart. Mike, I began, you are an idiot. Not just for saying such repulsive words, but for thinking for just a moment that you even had a chance with the most amazing, kind, and beautiful women I have ever met. I said simply. I saw him open his mouth for some sort of clever remark, but he never got a chance to say it. Wham! With a sudden burst of movement I slammed my fist forward with all my might and connected solidly with the part of the body that I was eye level at, his genitals. Mike rolled forward and off the cart, a high-pitched squeal leaving his mouth as he fell to the ground. He lay still for a second before he tried to get up, only to fall back down again. I climbed out of the seat compartment and sat down next to Danielle, who had a very proud look on her face. Hee, it's like I have a little knight in shining armor to protect me, she said, hitting the accelerator hard as we left. Mike crawled up in the dirt. I looked forward and saw the haunted house only a minute away. And if you all will gather around by this doorway, we'll head down into the haunted house. said the Disney employee, who began to wave her arms around as if she could attract the park guests like dust bunnies to a vacuum cleaner. She waited for a small green light by the doorway to flicker on, indicating that the elevator had come back up to the top floor. With a soft ding, the light turned on and the attendant opened the door and began her safety speech in one practiced motion. "Excuse me, coming through," said a male figure. The attendant watched open-mouthed as the man walked straight out of the elevator and disappeared down the hall. She was going to shout at him for some reason when a lady walked out of the elevator and chased after him.